Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and Adam McArthur is in the house. You may recognize him as one of the awesome voices in Star versus the Forces of Evil. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Of course, thanks for having me, you guys. I'm
So excited to have you.
So I'm a firm believer that the voice is, like, if we master and really fall in love with our voice, it's the highest of kind of embodiment. How did you find your voice?
Oh, interesting. So do you mean the voice of the character, or do you mean my
All of the
voice?
above.
Oh, all of the above. I've done martial arts my whole life, so I think having confidence and believing in yourself and all that stuff is incredibly important. I would say that's where my voice comes from. Marco Diaz, the character I play on Star versus the Forces of Evil, his voice is a little bit different than mine. It's a little bit higher. It's he's breaching that puberty mark, and he's a little bit higher. That's his voice.
Did you discover the voice of the character, or did they come to you and say, this is what we're looking for?
Well, with any character, I essentially get a picture of the character and a description of what they're looking for and in what this character embodies to them. And then from there, it's up to me to kind of create and find what I want to make this character.
So as a voiceover, how do you find your unique voice? Because you could go anywhere with your voice.
You could go anywhere. I mean, those photos, the pictures of the characters that you get and the descriptions of the characters are incredibly valuable. Sometimes you don't get them. Sometimes you just get a script. And if that's the case, then you just make a choice. And for me, it comes down to having fun. What feels the most fun? When am I having the most fun playing this character? And then that usually translates to,
But do you ever show up in life a little differently with your voice? Meaning, like, if you see a picture of you right now, what does your voice sound like? Versus we see you on the red carpet in a tux, what does your voice sound like? I mean, are you alting?
We want to know what you're like in the bedroom. Do you change your voice in the bedroom or not?
No,
Come on, let's get it. No, just kidding. I always have to come with the questions here.
No, I mean, I'm myself. Although, in instances like teaching martial arts or like in competition for martial arts and stuff like that, there's times where you have to introduce yourself to the judges or something like that, and you don't want to be, hey guys, I'm here to do some kung fu or whatever. You want to sound, so you drop your voice a little bit and you're speaking down in here.
When did you discover this passion?
I've always wanted to do cartoons.
Always.
Really?
I've always wanted to
Do you remember the first
cartoons.
cartoon that inspired that within you?
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles.
Who were you, Leonardo?
Who do you
Angela?
think I was?
Well, I was April.
Okay, clearly.
I'm sure no one's surprised.
Not surprised,
I wanted
not
to be the
surprised.
pretty girl, damsel in distress.
Not surprised. Michelangelo was always my favorite turtle.
Okay.
Called it.
Michelangelo was up. But I had a soft spot for Leonardo too, because I think there's something to being a great leader, and I think
Right.
Leonardo really embodied it.
So how do you become a voiceover? Like, I'm just going to become this, like, where do you go?
Yeah, you pretty much you just walk in and Disney. And you're like, yeah,
I'm here.
I'm laying it all out there for you. No, so I started when I was 16. There's two things I've always wanted to do in my life: martial arts and have an agent. I didn't know what that meant, but my parents said I asked them for
That's
an
hilarious.
agent at like 5 years.
Really?
God.
Yes. So they put me in an acting class when I was 16 years old. They put me in martial arts when I was 11. And my first acting coach was, she was a voice actress on Sesame Street. And so she sort of nurtured me, and then some auditions came across her desk. This is up in Northern California in San Francisco. And I auditioned and ended up booking what turned out to be like 30 radio commercials for Macy's.
Wow.
Wow.
I was 16 or 17 at the time. I didn't know at the time that the Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA were on strike. So they were just bringing in whoever.
Oh, wow.
And then the strike ended while I was working on those commercials, so it afforded me my SAG card. So it got me into the union. And then I worked up there for a few years, and then finally moved down to LA in 2003. After having worked up in the Bay Area doing voice acting for a long time. And then it took me another 5 years to get my bearings down here. It's just, I tell everybody, everyone's like, what's the secret? How do you do it? What do you do? I'm like, you just got to be here. You just have to be consistent. You just have to always do good work or do your best. So you're going to have bad auditions. That's normal. But do your best work and just stay here. Most people they freak out and they'll quit. You just gotta be here.
Were you ever concerned that there was something other people knew that you didn't know? Like in the process, I think lots of folks struggle.
Always, always. I mean, that's the actor. That's the actor. I mean, even now. So I've been on Star since 2003. I've been working on Star versus the Forces of Evil since 2003. I've had recurring roles on other shows. I'm the voice of Disney XD. So if you watch the channel, the guy who's like coming up next on Disney, like all of that. And there are still days where I'm like, was this all an accident? Did I just get lucky?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, will I
Yeah.
ever work again? You know, so like it's totally normal.
So when you're having those moments, what do you tell yourself?
It's like, shut up. Just shut up, dude. Just relax. It's usually because I'm comparing myself to someone else or looking at someone else's journey and being like, well, why doesn't my journey look like that? But really, you can't do that. You can't do that in any area, not just acting. I think we're just more of an insecure breed than most.
So what's been your favorite voice character?
Definitely the one that definitely Marco Diaz
Okay,
on
cool.
Star. Yeah,
Very
Star
cool.
versus the Forces of Evil. It's been awesome because as one of the leads on the show, I've gotten to grow with the character and see a journey through over the course of 5.5 years, and everything culminates this coming Sunday, May 19th. At 7:30 a.m. on the Disney Channel. I don't know why it's so early, but it is. We want people to get up and then just be wrecked for the first time. But yeah, the series finale is this Sunday, so it's pretty.
Wow.
It's pretty wild. I'm actually like weirdly emotional about it.
Oh.
Yeah, because you said it's such a special character, and the show was so awesome, and it was one of the few shows created by a woman at Disney. And the crew was amazing, and Darren, the creator of the show, she was an amazing leader. She did things like most of the people who had positions on the crew, it was their first time in that job. So everyone who came to Star to work on the show in production got a step up. They got moved up a step than what they had ever previously
That's
been on.
awesome.
And she made it a point to like just make morale a priority on the show. And it just, it's all from the top down when you have a leader
Right.
like that. So it just permeated through the production crew, through the
That's so
cast,
cool.
casting at Disney, like everybody. It was just, we're like a tight, I feel like I'm graduating college again. And I'm like, oh, what's next? Like, what will I do with my life? Kind of thing. So, but it's been,
That's so awesome.
it's
But how do you
been really
think this
awesome.
role contributed to your legacy?
I mean, okay, so for example, asking like what show, I immediately knew Ninja Turtles when you asked like what show impacted you. And it's because I remember those moments, when you were kids and even teenagers and into our early 20s now, because cartoons are crazy now and they have through line plots, so you're getting a wide audience. But you remember these shows. And I had Rob Paulson, who was actually Raphael in the original Ninja Turtles. He's Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. He's Michelangelo on the newer Ninja Turtles. He's literally been in everything. I could go on and on about that guy. He said to me one time, he's like, what's going to be amazing for you is in 20 years when you're at a convention or you're walking down the street and someone recognizes you or recognizes your voice and they tell you what an impact you had on their childhood. And what's cool too now about like social media and Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff is I try and stay super connected with the fans. And so I already see that this show has really impacted them. I mean, I'm getting people like, I'm so sad it's over. Like, you'll never know what this show means to me, things like that. And it's incredibly humbling, and it's also just incredibly special.
So awesome.
Yeah,
Wow, really
It's
awesome.
really, really
So
cool.
awesome. That's really cool.
So excited for you.
Yeah, thank you.
All these different careers, like you don't
I
even
know.
know this stuff exists,
I know.
right?
I
It's
know.
a whole universe within itself.
It's wild,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
cool. Well, thank you so much, and tell me again where they can find and follow your personal journey.
Awesome. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at NinjaMac, NinjaMac. Twitter is @_Adam M. And then Star versus the Forces of Evil series, not even, it's the season and series finale.
Wow.
This Sunday, 7:30 a.m. on the Disney Channel.
Get your cereal on.
right.
Stay
Yes.
tuned. We'll be right back.